Hey everyone, it's Dan again, Urban Farms Manager. And today I wanted to do a little conversation about tomatoes. Tomatoes are, of course, a very popular crop for all of the urban farms and all of our constituent gardens as well. Um, and I'm going to do another video after this that is a demonstration of the techniques that we're going to be talking about as well. Um, First thing I wanted to discuss about tomatoes is the different varieties you might see in your garden and which types are best suited for the kind of growing that we do. Tomatoes come in two kinds. There's determinate and indeterminate. Determinate tomatoes are, they only grow to a certain size and then they stop growing, basically. Indeterminate tomatoes kind of just keep growing and they vine out because tomato is really a vine. And they can actually grow to be quite long, sometimes up to 15 feet long. I like to use determinate tomatoes at all of our sites since we're growing in 4x8 raised beds for the most part. The indeterminate tomatoes tend to be better for like greenhouse applications and things like that where they can really be trellised and staked properly. There's also something called a dwarf indeterminate. That's what we have here. This variety is Husky Cherry Red, and although they're indeterminate, they are they are a vining tomato rather than a bushing tomato. They are still much smaller, so they're suitable for smaller spaces or pots or patios. We grow both beefsteak tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. There are determinate and indeterminate varieties of each. So I recommend, if you are going out and purchasing seedlings, or if we're discussing which kind of tomatoes we want to buy, to err on the side of the determinate tomatoes pretty much all the time, or the dwarf indeterminates. Some varieties that I use that you're likely to be using in your gardens this season are Mountain Fresh, which is a good one, and there are a few others. I like to use tomatoes that also bear fruit earlier in the season rather than later, because we're often growing them from seed. So the next part, it's a little hard to see, but on a tomato plant, there are little hairs, and each one of those hairs is potentially a root. So when you're planting tomatoes, you want to actually plant them really deep. Bonnie Plants, this company, recommends burying 2/3 of the plant. So that's really all the way up to almost the top leaf. So if you have like a 10-inch plant, you only want to leave a couple inches. And you could actually cut off all of these and just kind of bury it up to the top. And that's going to give you a stronger root system. Stronger root system is going to give you better tomatoes. It's going to give you a more stable plant, among other things. And in our next video, I'm going to demonstrate how that's done.